I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Morning, folks. Welcome back. This is Chris and it's Monday morning. Is that correct? Monday, the 24th of March, 2025. Here on the East Coast of the United States. Sorry, I'm still getting accustomed to this reading glass thing, and my eyes were messed up because I didn't go to bed till 4 o'clock, and I was already up at 7. So rather than do a prepare video, which I will do later on, I've decided to do a live stream because a lot of people are already getting excited and freaking out. And let me just take a moment here to do a victory lap, okay? First off, don't get too excited. This is a good development, but I mean, it shows you the glacial pace at which governments work. The U.S. government today, through its embassy in the United States in Hatfield in South Africa, issued an update on its embassy website. The update is simply an explanation of what terms are when it comes to refugee status and how the refugee program works. Now, the reason I'm taking a victory lap is because I did this on February 11th, just 4 days after this program was announced. 4 days after the program was announced, I gave you all an update, and it appears that, gee, imagine this, Chris Wyatt was 100% correct in his analysis. It takes the State Department several weeks longer, 11 February to 24 March, that's what, 11, that's 4 and 10 days, that's 5, almost 6 weeks later, and the Colonel got it right. All these ass wipes all over the internet telling you the program wasn't real. I'm impatient. Oh, is it taking so long? Oh, you live in FEMA tents and you'll, Americans. Oh, what did I tell you? Calm down, calm down. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, here it is. And my apologies for the abortive start on the stream. YouTube just crapped out. It wouldn't connect, and I had to rebuild the stream within like 2 minutes. The good news is I've done this before, so would of course be the case when I have a big news update that the thing would crap out on me. All right, so as I've told you all along, it's happening, it's real, it's not fake. Donald Trump isn't putting the football out in front of you and pulling it out as you go to kick it. All lies by a bunch of leftist liars, black supremacists, white liberals who lie to you. Who lie to you? And what do you do? What do? You don't listen to me. Well, my audience does listen, but you Johnny-come-latelys go to other people who don't know jack shit about refugee status, don't know anything about how diplomacy works, don't know anything about history and political science, and because, oh, they're sexy or they got a channel, it's got a bunch of followers, you go listen to them, and you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So, welcome to the party, Johnny-come-latelys. Welcome to the party, Johnny-come-latelys. All right, now let's get to it. All right, so let's go to the embassy website first off. That's my victory lap. I'll do a couple more while I'm out of here, folks, because all the abuse I've received from a bunch of scumbags, skanky, nasty black supremacists and white leftist liberals and communists who've attacked me, lying about my content, misleading people, telling people things that I'm not. So we're going to have fun here. Meanwhile, I've been in the backyard this morning. That's why I can't see. I was up late putting up the FEMA tents. We've got 48 tents in my backyard, FEMA tents, all right? Only going to charge you 10,000 Rand for a settlement fee, and then it's 1,500 Rand per month after that. There's no abolition unit, so you have to walk down to the creek, which is about 800 meters behind my house, down here, if you want to shower and or use the toilet, okay? All right, so there you go. All right. All right, so Dr. Clue, the radical, you should see the horrible stuff written about me. It's unbelievable. All right, so here we go. Let's get with it now. Thank you to 400 people currently. Let's see if I actually grow my audience today. I doubt it. Don't hold your breath on this because people know better by listening to those who think they know what's going on. They're the experts because, ooh, they're on YouTube. All right, here we go. State Department website. I can't get anything done. I had to call about my dental appointment this morning. Can't do that. I had to call Neil Diamond. Can't get around to that. Just can't get to anything because every time I turn around, there's a news story to talk about. Chris, get some rest. You're tired. Well, the news keeps breaking, folks. Here you go. United States Department of State, PRM, or refugee resettlement, frequently asked questions. Gee, I have a neat idea for the State Department. All the interest in the refugee program from South Africa, maybe it would be a good idea to put on the U.S. Embassy a frequently asked question document. I don't know, something like this that you put on the website so that people can read it. And gee, what would the most frequently asked questions be, I wonder? What might people be curious about? What might inquiring minds want to know about refugee resettlement in the States? I don't know. Gosh, it seems crazy. What a concept. Who would have done this? By the way, I got to give credit Arctic, because Arctic is the one who suggested I do the video. But gee, gosh, folks, I mean, why in the world, where in the world would we find something like this? So we go back to 11 February with a video that has 91,000 views over a month ago. And let's just take a quick look at that, folks. All right, so here you go. 11 February of 2025. And it takes the State Department to put on the embassy website 5 weeks later, the obvious. Here you go. Oh, wrong one. Here you go, folks. I'm sure the embassy probably got the information from me. No, I doubt that. They have their own information. But I'm sure that it was prompted by my action. I guarantee you that. Folks, welcome back. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. This video is born out of frustration from the executive order that President Trump issued about South Africa, in which the United States will no longer provide financial assistance to South Africa in the form of foreign aid, and also opened up a refugee settlement program for a class of people identified as Afrikaners. This has raised dozens of questions, and over the past several days, I've spent an inordinate amount of time trying to politely and patiently answer the questions of thousands of people online. Now, the U.S. government had an obligation, in my view, to clarify this on Monday or Tuesday. We're now into Tuesday, and so these questions still keep coming. Media in South Africa are lying to South Africans, distorting facts, taking factual information from U.S. government websites and distorting it, and other people who profess to be lawyers and those in the know are misleading you and lying to you. So I am here to answer the top 10, no, now it's 14 questions that have been asked of me over the past several days regarding the refugee program in South Africa. I'm going to explain it as best I can. I won't have some of the answers because they simply do not exist. Also, I will caution you that this program is longstanding. The United States Refugee Admissions Program exists. It's in law, and the program is currently suspended. On the 20th of January, 2025, after President Trump was sworn in, he signed executive order which froze this program and suspended all refugee arrivals in the United States. Now, traditionally, the United States takes in anywhere from 30 to 50 to 100 to 150,000 refugees per year, depending on conflicts and events going around the world. And so I'm going to answer those questions as best I can. I'm not an attorney. I am not selling you anything. I'm not asking you for anything. You don't have to give me a darn thing. You can listen to this video. You can tune it out. You can ignore it. That is your prerogative. What I'm here to do is to set the record straight as best as possible in the vacuum and dearth of information that currently exists, because my government has not stepped up to the plate. Hopefully they'll do that soon, in expectation that the U.S. Embassy in... And they didn't. We had to wait another 5 weeks after I did that video. Folks, that video was done on 11 February, 4 days after Trump issued, not even 4 days, 3 days plus after Trump issued his executive order. And gosh, who got it right? Well, there you go. All right, so now what are you seeing today? What's the issue going on today? That was from February 11th. This is what the site looks like today. If you go to the U.S. Embassy website, and I'm going to click there, then I'm going to read this to you and not show you the screen, because I'm just going to read it to you, okay? So there's the Embassy website. Woo, look at that big change. PRM, Refugee Resettlement Program. So people are asking, what does PRM stand for? What does PRM stand for? Well, folks, I've told you 1,000 times on this program. Department of State's Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration. Population, Refugees, and Migration. Population, Refugees, and Migration. All right, does that sink in? Remember, I made this document 6 weeks ago explaining key acronyms for these programs: refugee cash assistance, refugee medical assistance, refugee support services. Amongst the videos I spent endless hours putting together for folks, it's all on my channel under the list of videos to go to for the refugee program. It's there. Why am I shouting? Because I'm a little bent out of shape, Kai. A little bent out of shape. That's why I'm shouting. All right? Because I've only said this 18 million times. But welcome to the program, folks. Okay, here we go. All right, let's click on this and you'll see. It's called for emphasis. All right, March 24th. Frequently asked questions. Here you go. There they are. Who's a refugee? All right, folks. Yeah, why am I shouting? Because people do not listen. And people in the chat asking you the same question I've answered when I've seen them on air before chatting. Instead of chatting with each other when I cover refugee stuff, maybe you should listen to me. Now, if it had been a new person who'd asked a question for the first time, it would have been a different story. Okay, right. PRM, Population, Refugee, and Migration Resettlement. Have a Starbucks and I'll have a whiskey. There you go, Arctic. How's it going, man? 100 Rand. All right, let's get it started. PRM refugee resettlement. What they've done is simply, folks, answer what they expect now, the most frequently asked questions. But here's the problem. Leaders anticipate. Leaders lead from the front. Leaders look to the future. Leaders anticipate these problems. And what did I do? And you got to give Arctic credit. Arctic is part of that leadership team. Arctic suggested that I go ahead and do this video. I was already contemplating, but I figured who's gonna care about it. Arctic suggested I do it, and it was a great suggestion. So I made the video based on questions I thought were the most important questions. They weren't really the 14 most frequently asked questions. They're the ones I thought were the most important. Anyway, so this is what they put on their website today. Who is a refugee? Under U.S. law, a refugee is a person who is outside their country of nationality, or if no nationality, country of last habitual residence, and who is unable or unwilling to return to that country, or is unable to avail themselves of the protection of that country because of past persecution, or has a well-founded fear of persecution on account of race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion. In certain circumstances, specified by the President of the United States, individuals who are within their country of nationality may also be considered refugee for purposes of admission to the United States. This would be in-country refugee status. You're not legally a refugee. You must be out of your country. However, in certain circumstances, as I indicated over and over, and I think Evan Galopoulos also indicated, the President can designate, or the State Department can designate you. So in this case, the President is designated Afrikaners, whatever that's going to be. One such specification is in certain circumstances, persons identified by an embassy or by an authorized State Department referral partner in any location. That could be the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR. But anyway, so that is why South Africans will qualify for refugee status even though you're not refugees. Does that make sense? What is the United States Refugee Admissions Program? U.S. Refugee Admissions Program is a legal pathway through which individuals who are refugees under U.S. law may be resettled in the U.S. That would be the people in South Africa. Refugees must apply for permanent residency 1 year after arriving in the United States. What did I say you have to do? You apply for a green card within a year after you get there. Oh, what did they just told you? You must apply for a green card 1 year after you get there. Refugees may then apply to become a U.S. citizen 5 years after the day of their admission to lawful permanent residence. Where did you hear that before? Right here. 5 years. Okay? Not within 5 years, 5 years after the date. Refugees are authorized to work in the United States. And you may apply, but you're authorized to work in the United States, unlike an asylum seeker who legally is unable to work in the United States. Do I need to pay a fee for access to the program? Access to U.S. Refugee Admissions Program is free. Is free. It costs nothing. Access to U.S. Refugee Program costs nothing. Nothing. No lawyers, no advisors, no contractors, no counselors, no resettlement advisors, nothing. It costs fuck all. It costs jack shit. It costs $0, 0 cents, 0 shekels, 0 rubles, 0 euros, 0 rand. It costs you nothing. Do not listen to people offering to do something for you for money. You do not need fuck all. You need nothing. Now, why am I saying this? Because I've been warning you since February 7th about scammers. And people have attacked me because they're scammers. And people have attacked me because they're racist. And people have attacked me because they're hate-wanking shitheads. You pay fuck all for this program. You do not need a lawyer. Listen to the words come out of my mouth. My fuck Marlies. Anyway, nix not and yet nine the Bahnhof. Nothing. And who told you that first? February 7th. Am I crowing? Just a little bit here. Just a little bit here. All right. Who is eligible for the program? The President defines who may be eligible through the presidential determination on U.S. refugee admissions or report to Congress on proposed refugee admissions. And he did that in his executive order on February 7th. So what are all the steps involved in processing? Well, the United States Refugee Assistance Program, Admissions Program, on my list of acronyms, U.S. Refugee Admissions Program right there, USRAP, okay? First one was there. It was PRM. We talked about that. Now here's USRAP at the bottom, okay? All right. Okay, Bach and Thierry, who said you had to go to Pretoria? Assumptions are dangerous things. What does assumption do? It makes something out of you and me. There is no reason to say petrol's expensive. You have to go to Pretoria. You might be living down the street from where the building is hired to do the interviews in Durban, or in Port Elizabeth, or in Bloemfontein, or in Uppington. So you don't know. You're making an assumption again, just like all the Karens running around. I'm not picking on you, but all the Karens go, oh my God, it's only for people who've been stabbed. Oh, if I haven't been stabbed, I can't go. Okay. All right. Okay. So U.S. RAP processing includes an interview with the Department of Homeland Security to determine if the applicant is eligible for refugee status. Security checks. Reference the video on security checks and medical exams. Okay, well, I said I wasn't sure how they would do that if they had to do the medical exams because for most refugees, that's taken care of by UNHCR. You're not refugees, so they're probably going to have medical exams here. All applicants must complete the full security screening process, both biographic and biometric checks. Fingerprints, DNA. You don't have to give any semen samples. Relax. Get a grip there. Well, not on that. Don't get a grip on that. Okay, no grip on that, folks. No grip on that, okay? Ease up on your member, okay? Release your member. All right. Any applicant unable to successfully complete the required security vetting process is not allowed to enter the United States. Imagine that. Imagine. Can I fly to the United States now and claim asylum on arrival? Can I apply for the United States if I'm already there on a temporary visa? Okay. They have definitively answered one thing I already said. Another I also definitively answered, but said I believe that's the case because the law says that. And I'm correct again. I should be a lawyer. You must be located outside the United States to access a referral to U.S. RAP and to undergo U.S. RAP processing. Ladies and gentlemen, you must be outside. What's this? Detlef Moeller. I've been watching you since about 1,000. Trust this, man. He's not BSing people. Thanks for your continued support. Thank you very much, Detlef Moeller. Yeah, well, 1,000 subscribers. That would be like May of 2021 on this channel, unless you're talking about the original channel, which would have been May of 2020. All right, so folks, you must be located outside the United States. I said that over and over again, and you cannot apply for asylum. They didn't answer that here. So they say, can you claim asylum on arrival? No, it doesn't say. They ask a question here, and they don't even answer. Can I fly to the United States now and claim asylum on arrival? No, they only answer the second question. You can't. You can't come to America and claim asylum. You're not going to get it because it's not refugee status. And 95% of asylum seekers are frauds, and their case is rejected. And as Evan Kalupta has made a point, folks, asylum isn't a judicial process. It's an administrative process. So the judge, who is a judge, who hears your case, comes from an adversarial standpoint. If you come before an asylum court in America, an asylum hearing in America, the judge is like, okay, you're guilty. You don't deserve asylum. Now tell me why you should be here. That's basically how it works. Refugee status is completely different. You may have very similar requirements and some things sound the same, but they're very different. You don't want asylum unless you're persecuted somewhere and you get to America legally, then you ask for it. But coming here as an asylum seeker from South Africa, coming here legally on visa for tourism or business or visiting family, and then declaring an asylum case, you're going to lose that case most likely. Don't bother with that. Do the refugee thing. Can I maintain citizenship from my country of origin after becoming a U.S. citizen? U.S. law generally would not require you to renounce your country of origin citizenship. Please consult laws of your country of origin regarding dual citizenship. That is the only thing that comes slightly in conflict with what I've said. That is the only thing that comes slightly in conflict, but it doesn't come entirely in conflict because, all right, so you do not renounce your citizenship because you can't be stateless. That's what I said. But this implies that you can be a dual national. That's why it's slightly in conflict with what I said. But U.S. law does not recognize dual citizenship. So that's slightly different than what I've told you. But I don't know who wrote that, but they need a better lawyer for that because consult your laws of your country. So, yeah, the U.S. doesn't recognize dual citizenship, but a lot of people claim they have dual citizenship. So there you have it, folks. There's the population refugee resettlement program update. It's not really an update. It's simply frequently asked questions that they're answering 5 weeks late. Something I did 5 weeks ago, folks. 5 weeks ago. Zine says, would that be a checkup by a doctor with additional chest x-rays? Yes, you're going to have a TB test, yes. Now, whether they do a chest x-ray or they do a TB time test, I don't know. I can't come back to America as a military person until I've had a TB test. So you think we're going to let you come in here for permanent resettlement without a TB test, especially from one of the epicenters of the TB freaking crisis on the planet, South Africa? No, you're going to have some sort of TB test. I don't know if it'll be chest x-ray. We do chest x-rays for people from West Africa. But, yeah, I don't know the answer on that, Zine, but you can expect it. Why? Does that bother you or is that a concern? All right, let me get back to the chat now. I've gone through it. There's your update, folks. 951 people here. There ought to be 10,000 people watching the stream right now. See the YouTube suppression? I mean, I did the abortive video, and it was only 5 seconds long, or 10 seconds long. There were 1,000 views. And here, after being on for 24 minutes, we just have 2,000 views. What's going on, YouTube? All right. Let me go back to the chat as far as let me go back. So I won't let me go back all the way. But Prosa Bernard is here. Warwick is here. Army, how's it going? Harold Menges, welcome to you. Light Rain in from the West Coast. Kai, the great Kai. Why are you shouting, bro? Because I can. Calm down, says Quids. No, you calm down. All right, Sarita Flippe. Cornet Tyson, I'm ready, Colonel. Okay, Tyson. Sue Walsh, welcome to you. Need some stronger coffee. Nope, I need some people to be patient. As I've been asked from Bergmeister, thank you. I'll take the closest tent to your bride facility. He's going to need that space for bride rookies. No onions. Yeah, 19 million times. Those who've been here the whole time know. I've said it over and over again. So it gets a little frustrating. Anyway, so hey, Lauren Clegg. How's it going? Yappy Brandt. Sue Walsh. So this update from the embassy is not really an update. It's probably just meant to reassure people because now they're getting flooded with emails because people seen there's interviews and maybe some people have heard what I've said. Go ahead and flood them. That's what they deserve for not answering your questions. Also, I made an official request to the U.S. government and I was ignored. Someone that spent 36 years in the government, someone that's trying to help the government prevent this chaos, I tried to help them. So screw them. Screw them. This is what they get. If their servers are being flooded, that's what they get for being so stupid and having a lack of leadership at the embassy in Hatfield. That's what they get. I suppose it's because there's no ambassador there and maybe they can't manage things, but that's a shame on them. Shame on them. Antoinette Carnier, good afternoon to you. Roadkill's back. Where have you been? And Lindy is so excited. Well, it's okay to be excited. It just shows that they're working on it, which is what I've told you all along, folks. Anyone working in IT will know all too well that people do not read or listen. Yvonne Clausen, you are correct. You are correct. People do not listen. Don't tell me you came live to just repeat yourself as per previous videos. Proud Neanderthal. No, I came live to crow. No, actually, I came live because people are going to go everywhere, and the only thing that's in this frequently asked question that was different from what I've told you is slightly different is what they're talking about citizenship. All right, I did tell you can't be kept stateless, and South Africa can't strip you of your citizenship for becoming a refugee. That's illegal in international norms. Then I'll explain that, but basically they allude to that. My birthday was on the 11th of February. Really, friends? I didn't know that. Happy belated birthday. Definitely not another 2 months for an update. Well, at the pace they're going, yeah, it could be 2 more months for an update. So there you go. Ren37 says, all ears. AJ Quinn is here. You want to flip the kernel switch now? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Corey says, no extra classes for kids tomorrow anymore. So basically on leave. Okay, cool. Cool. Corey, okay. Greg Hogan, I feel like Charlie waiting for my golden ticket to the chocolate factory. I would love to work for you, sir. You don't take shit and love it. Well, thank you, Xdoddle. Okay. Cosin Castle, afternoon. Good evening to you. People don't listen, Tony. Hey, Tony, how's it going? Arthur Fundameva, thanks. Kai's not laughing, but you repeated this a few times, but thanks for giving me time. No, I have more than a few times, Arthur. Population refugee minors. No. Population refugee migration. Migration. If you're trying to be funny, it's migration. It's a hard acronym to remember. I have to look at it, okay? All right, Rakes, hello to you. No sound, Miranda. Really? That's strange. I've got sound. Really? That's strange. I've got sound. I've got sound. Ronaldo jumped me. No, Ronaldo didn't jump me. Refresh your browser. Good day, Marissa. You can keep shouting. It's raining here, so you have to shout. That's why I'm shouting. I'm shouting so Marissa can hear me. It's raining there, okay? Okay, I'm back for how long? I have no idea. Still working on things and moving to Richards Bay. Okay, MCM, glad to see you're back. I haven't seen you in a few days. Sean says, can we get an update now? Should be 1,000 most frequently asked questions. We'll watch tonight on the way to the meeting. Thanks for your effort, says Antoinette Cronier. Wayne Herschel's Atlantis author just subscribed. Well, thank you, Wayne Herschel's, the author of Atlantis, okay. Jared Horn, Captain Morgan, Dark Rum, okay. Americaners also mentioned the same, okay. Yes. Okay, Garrett is here. Hey, Garrett, Anita Hobla. Marquis, okay, Yolande, Anton. If they registered with the Afrikaners, they would have received this email you are reading now this morning already. Well, Anton, if you watched my video from 11th February, you would have already known all this. What's your point, brother? What's your point? Who came first, the chicken or the egg, Ronaldo or Chris or the Amerikaners? What does it matter? And here is Ren37. If people had listened to you and actually went to the sources you provided, then they would have seen this info all along this being repeated on the USCIS website. Thank you, Ren37. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And Arctic says, no Canadian ass clown lawyers. People are stressed out. Please forgive us. This is serious attacks on our lives. Dr. Clue, I got it. But you have to often understand. Okay, you have to often understand. Okay, appreciate this, folks. I have put so much energy and effort into this news channel to keep people informed, to be honest with people. And the constant abuse that I get that's unwarranted is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And the fact that my channel gets shadow banned and people don't find my content, and then everyone comes to me later and says, hey, this, that, and the other. I mean, I appreciate the new subscribers come to the channel like, hey, Chris, you should interview this person. You should check out this Neil DeBeer guy. You should talk to Rob Hersov. You should do this. I do appreciate the recommendations, but the fact that people haven't seen my channel. Someone sent me a note last night, or was it maybe in the stream last night? One of my viewers said, yeah, I have friends in, who was it said last night? I have friends in these countries. None of them ever heard of your channel. They know Ronaldo in the Morning Shop. My question is, how in the world could you know Ronaldo's channel and not know my channel? We do a show every week called Wednesdays with the Colonel. And to Ronaldo's credit, he tells people to go subscribe to my channel. So how do people not know my channel? It's just a little frustrating. Now, we've grown a lot in the last month and a half, but it's slowed down to glacial pace again because of YouTube's actions. So it's a little frustrating. Again, does anyone give me credit for correctly calling the election in 2024? Nope. The only time you hear that I got it right was when I tell you. And it gets old to self-promote all the time. But I will self-promote. I predicted in November of 2021 that the ANC would get between 38 and 42% of the vote, the popular vote, in the 2024 election. November of 2021. Now you can say, Chris, you were lucky. Maybe. You say, Chris, well, yeah, that's, it's just the way things play out. No one predicted they would go below 50%. Not a single person November 21. Not a single South African analyst. Yet I get ass wipes who come on, who are you to talk about South Africa? What do you know about South Africa? Well, I got that right. I got my predictions on everything except the MK party almost spot on. I said the EFF would go below 10%. They did. Anyway, it's just a little frustrating because it's there. I've done it. I've told people. When majority was talking shit and fake news, you were giving facts. Thank you, Van. Exactly right. That's the thing. When people are telling you bullshit, I have no dog in the fight. I don't want you in America. I don't not want you in America. It's not germane to me. None of you are women that I'm sleeping with, or men. I don't sleep with men, but none of you are people I'm sleeping with. None of you owe me money. I don't owe money to any of you. I'm not related to any of you by kin, whether you're black, white, or brown. I'm as close to black South Africans as I am to white South Africans DNA-wise. So, no dog in the fight. Simply the truth. That's all I care about. And I do care about having a bigger channel, more people watching. And it's nice to get the ad revenue. I'm not going to complain. That's nice. After pouring tens of thousands of dollars of my own life savings and my own income into building this channel and building this source of news for the past 5 years, with no compensation. If I take every penny I've ever spent on this channel, whether it's flying to Tampa to cover the CPAC convention, or it's flying to South Africa, or flying to the UK, or flying to Colorado, or all these places I've gone, to Texas to cover rugby, all over, all the gasoline, all the petrol, all the miles, all the hotels, all the lodging, all that, if I put it all together, it's going to be a long time, even at the rate now I'm getting ad revenue, before I even break even for what I spent over 5 years. If I hadn't worked my entire life and saved and earned and put things aside, I would not have been able to do that. So, JP Nadia, I'll get to your chat in just a moment. So, yeah, okay. Who on the stream is still be applying? Well, Angry Bird, I don't think anybody should answer that question. You should keep that to yourselves. But maybe a few Zim dollars. Okay, forgive them, Colonel White, not understanding, listening, and research things as a result of 30% matrix rate, says Toby. Well, maybe that might be true. Helena DePolo, Yolande Cilliers, welcome to you. Michael Kotsia, Jan Fandriel. You pay fuck all, right? Remember, Chris, you were talking, okay? Tennis, okay. Time to get the headphones before the kids come home. Yeah. It will cost you if you enter illegally. That's correct. Arthur, thank you for your membership. Appreciate that. All right. Reg Dodd, petrol's expensive. Okay, that's where we're at there. The Karens created tension. Indeed, they did. There's Colin with a super chat. There you go. Oh, now you guys are going to make me look like I'm silly because there's super chats coming in. 45 fun. What's this? Oh, there's 45 Afrikaners now. Hannes Krobler says no. Now 45 fun ons. Okay. Okay. Hugo Basson. I'm gonna jump ahead in the chat, everybody here. Did I miss anything in the last minutes? I'm going to go over the entire thing in just again in a moment here, as soon as I get through this chat. That's what I assume too. I've proved race. Okay, again, Angry Bird Lady. No, I just read that. The president can designate a group of people. You normally have to prove it, but he can designate. You just have to show you have a well-founded fear. But if you've got proof, take it. Okay. All right, Russell. Okay. It's not really new information, as Chris brought this up ages ago. Yep, 11 February. I actually said on 7 February. I actually started answering these questions on 7 February, didn't I, Artie? These questions that are addressed in this update from the U.S. Embassy in Pretoria are questions that I answered on 7 February, the night I went live, less than 2 hours after Trump announced his program. I read it, I analyzed it, and in 2 hours was able to go live with my knowledge and background of immigration and refugee. And I'm not an attorney, and I got it right. I'm just an intelligence analyst. Well, I'm more than that, but anyway, yeah. Tony would time everybody out. Nyanga. In West Africa, U.S. Embassy conduct clinic to do medical checks for visas. Some would apply for a visa. This includes blood. Yeah, exactly. There you go, Nyanga. We do chest x-rays in West Africa. That I know, because I've been there. I know we do the chest x-rays. To send students to the U.S., we have to do a chest x-ray for TB. So I wouldn't be surprised if they make you do it in South Africa. But for Americans, we just do a TB time test. All right? Thank you, Nyanga. Gelabo. Enjoy it when you lose your shit. Well, I didn't really lose my shit today, Louise. Boy, if you want to see me lose it, you should really see it. Been watching since, okay, thank you for that. Okay, well, I would have gotten stabbed. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, Angry Bird Lady, I have to run out and get stabbed now. There you go. They don't mention South Africa. Oh, here we go, reading into things. They don't mention South Africa specifically. Do you think that's on purpose? I do, because now they can take this and they just copy and paste it for the next country where they have this problem. Charles asking something. Is there a kitchen? There's no kitchen for your my FEMA tents. There's no kitchen. You're screwed. Peter Forster has a €2.49 super chat. Jules, thank you for all your effort. I have watched in every one video. Oh, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to get to all the chats in a moment. Even the Aussies on E3 visas limit in which cities they can stay in. It has to do with your income, so you don't have to live in a city you cannot pay tent. I don't know what Arctic's responding to. You won't necessarily be settled in a city. You'll probably settle in a city or suburb somewhere. You'll be settled where the Department of Homeland Security puts you, because we have to have an absorptive capacity angle to this. You can't just put people anywhere. Hey, Vanna Stoltz, thank you for your membership. Yep. Franz Free, okay. Warwick, I know that was Mitch, dude. I'm Warwick. Remember? So, okay. Marissa, listen to what the colonel is telling you. Now we don't know. Now we do not know where or how we are going. The info is on. Is the info has been giving us. If you're open, then you'll know what's going on. Okay. Bo Smith, 14 Rand Super Chat. Thank you for the update. You're welcome. Refugee status is free. Exactly. Okay. I have received an email today from what appears to be a Embassy in Pretoria, although I've not yet submitted mail. I'm concerned it's spam, so I went to the embassy info site. Anita Hrubla, if you sent an email message to the embassy about the refugee program, then you should look at it, and if it has a correct email address, it's probably legit. We were concerned about this, and in fact, I asked the State Department this a couple of weeks ago. I called them on a Thursday and requested information on the program. Did you send an email out to people before they interviewed anybody? Because I, too, was concerned it might be a scam. Even though it looked legitimate, I looked at the email and analyzing the data and the metadata, it appeared to be legitimate. Still, I wanted to know, because there's some very sophisticated scammers out there. The embassy took my phone call, or not the embassy, the State Department took my phone call and promised to get back with me. I CC'd a colleague who works at the State Department, who used to be a lieutenant colonel in the Army, whom I've known for 20 years. He's retiring in a few weeks, so it was good timing. He responded and said, how you doing? And he says, I'm not sure that that's real. I don't know, but we'll let them answer you. To date, nearly 2 weeks later, I have yet to hear squat. I've heard fuck all from the State Department answering my request. I'm a retired colonel in the United States Army. I contacted the branch and the people responsible for overseeing the embassy in South Africa, and they haven't had the courtesy to return my phone call or send me an email message. So you think you're frustrated. I'm also a journalist, so it was a legitimate question from the media, and they have an obligation to answer questions from the media, and they didn't answer my question. So if you think you're frustrated, imagine my frustration. Jan says we know to come for the true news. Yep. Okay. El Marie. Well, thank you, El Marie, for coming member. What's this now? Colonel tuned me. I tuned the Angry Bird Lady. Thank you, Mad Mouse. All right. You guys know what's funny? You can only go for your passport to certain bank branches. They do not do passports in all cities and towns. Well, you don't have to go to the bank. You can go to Home Affairs if you want to stand in line. I think you know more than our cabinet. That's Marie Hibbert. Okay. All right. I think what you're trying to tell me is I know more people in your cabinet. Well, yeah, I do. That's pretty obvious based on how they react. 11 February, best president ever. Chuckle every time you say 11 February now. Yeah, it's when I did the 14 most frequently asked questions. Yep. Please run for president of South Africa. It doesn't work that way. It sounds more qualified than an attorney, says Terrence. Thank you. Thank you for all your efforts, says Jules. I've watched each and every video. 35 Rand. Peter Forster, €2.49. World Bridger. Ivan Klassen. Minor misplacement of excrement. Not really lost. Yeah, minor misplacement excrement. Thank you for that, Ivan. That's pretty funny. Vaughn ZA. Some hate the truth. Some love it. Neuronavigate. Apologies for all the attacks received, Colonel. No pills for stupid there aren't. And Hauptmann gave £1.99. Thank you for the Hauptmann 101. Okay, Werner Stoltz became a member. I think I already saluted for that. Okay, what else? Jump ahead here. Okay, afternoon, Chris. It's Cabello from Butterworth, but recently moved to Cape Town. Kailicha inside. Are you serious, Cabello? You're living in... Oh, you moved into Cape Town. Okay, got you. So you moved out of Kailicha. Congratulations. So nothing against Kailicha. A lot of fine people live in Kailicha, but it's not the best place to live. So congratulations, Cabello, for finding your way out of there. And you will go where they place you, exactly. And then you can move. It's up to you. You move after that, you know. You're not stuck there. Okay. Cabello, it's good to see you again. Thanks for being back here. Boy, folks, I cannot see this morning. I had to put these reading glasses on. Drive me nuts. Stupid questions. Can we exchange our rands at the airport in America? Yeah, the major airports, when you income, they buy currency, but you are going to get fleeced. You are going to get fleeced. They take so much money. Do never use airport currency exchanges. Never use airport currency exchanges, folks. Never use airport currency exchanges. Even though the banks take a big, hefty chunk of it in South Africa, you're better off getting it there. Okay? Looks like all BRICS countries are investing with Trump and not South Africa. Yeah. El Marie, thank you. She says, thanks for your time, Chris. You're a friend for us. Well, El Marie, it's my pleasure, and thank you for being here. Mailman is not born in South Africa as well. I have no idea what Venner's saying there, okay? Okay, Venko said, thank you for all your efforts to help this side. It's obviously frustrating when you try your best and it flies over the heads of some over the heads of many. If only we could change this country within. Well, I wish you could change South Africa. It's such an amazing place. What factors automatically disqualify a person from refugee status to the U.S. would be interesting to have info. Well, Chris Smith, I've covered that many, many times, but I will do that because it's an apropos question and it's relevant. So you can be disqualified if you're a criminal, if you're a felon. If you've committed a felony, you could be disqualified and not able to come to America. If you're a member of an extremist group, if you're a member of a right-wing racist group or a left-wing racist group or, something like that. So if you're a murderer, a rapist, a pedophile and convicted of those things or something like that, or you've assaulted people, you're not going to be able to come. Now, do not take that as I have to give up. Thank you, Ron Duploy. Don't take that as you may have to give up because people are falsely convicted of crimes they never committed. But that will just make your case much more complicated. But it's not an automatic, say, for instance, your home was invaded and you were attacked and wounded and you fired in self-defense, but then in South Africa they convict you of manslaughter or something like that. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be disqualified. It's just going to mean you're going to have a much harder case. Also, let me tell you a piece of advice. Having been a law enforcement officer, having been a counterintelligence official, having been a federal credentialed investigator who asks people questions, do not lie, either by stating a falsehood or by an omission. When you don't tell something that's relevant to your case to an investigator, that is a lie. If you lie, you are fucked. You are fucked. You are fucked. You will never come to America. Even as a tourist, you will never come here. Do not lie to investigators. Do not lie to interviewers. All right? You must treat that as a very important situation. So if you got something to hide, you better not lie. Hopefully you don't have anything bad to hide. So those are the things that will disqualify. If you file for bankruptcy, that's not going to stop you. That's not going to have any impact. Nope. Where do we board? Refugees free no matter which country you come from. Yep. Just want to leave. Okay. Waiting to see the Neanderthals qualify. Yeah, Neanderthals do qualify. So do canines and right-wing podcasters, apparently. Yeah, your politicians are living on deep rock. Kali Maritz, welcome to you. Johan Dutoy, 35 Rand. Thank you for everything you do for South Africa. You're welcome. El Marie gave another 70 Rand. Thank you, El Marie. Thank you very much for Super Sticker. Is a member or a super chat, a better type of support. Van, the most important thing you can do for me is subscribe to my channel and tell everybody about my channel to come subscribe to it. Help me grow. Help me get to 100,000 subscribers. 100,000 subscribers would be fantastic for this channel. With 100,000 subscribers and people watching my videos, that'll generate enough revenue that I don't have to keep dipping into my pocket to bring you the news, and I can actually maybe at some point hire someone to help out and organize these things. But short of that, and that comes from advertising. The super chats are great, but if you really want to help, you can circumvent the super chat by doing the following. I have a PayPal, and PayPal takes a lot less money than YouTube does. So there's a PayPal if you really want to help. If you're asking a question, member is fantastic. That just shows regular stuff. Also, Van, members get custom emojis they can access. Some people like those. They also get the membership icons, like a Tomahawk has the RDP house next to his name over there. So you get that. That's just an advantage of that. But if you want to help financially, you know, if you want to do that, I'm not asking for that. But if you do that, the better bet is right there, PayPal. Just send the PayPal. That's going to be much better. Send it, and that comes instantly. YouTube money I don't see for ages. So the money being donated today, I won't see until the end of April. The end of April. Yeah. So it'll be over a month from now before I even see this money. Yep. Because they pay a month. They pay a month in arrears, does YouTube. So it always comes later. Plus, they take 35% of the super chat. And then the government takes another half when I pay taxes here. So, yep. Okay. All right. Jean-Luc Duplessis, how do I apply for the resettlement program if I'm currently in Zambia? You can't. You can't. I've said that all along. You can't. I've said that. Thank you, John. A lot of people becoming members here. I said that all along. You must be... Where's it at here? Is there a question here? You must be outside your country nationality. Well, where's it at here? Somewhere it said in here. Well, I thought it said in here. But you must be... they're not going. You can't be this. Maybe this didn't address. You can't be reset. You can't be settled somewhere else. If you're working in Zambia on a short-term visa, but not living there as a permanent resident, you should be able to go on the website, apply for it, get an interview. But you're going to have to go to South Africa for the interview. They're not going to interview you in Zambia because you're living in Zambia, and you better have an address, a permanent address in South Africa. All right. Okay. So does that answer your question, Jean-Luc? Okay. No, you don't go to the embassy. You go to the embassy in Zambia, in Lusaka, that's just going to give a red flag up. Oh, this guy's asking for it. They might even make a note. Don't do that. Look online, U.S. Embassy South Africa, and when the program comes open, or send them an email and tell them you're interested, okay? Tell them I'm South African. Tell them you're South African, which you are. But you cannot apply, you cannot get access to a refugee program from a third country. Well, fourth country in this case. The third country would be, you know, Namibia or Botswana. So no, you have to. So, but they don't clarify that as well here as they should. That's the one question we've had out there that's been hanging. Okay. Why will attacks escalate? There's nothing new here. Because stupid people live in South Africa? That would explain it. Tony says, insanity is, what's this? Cabello says, thank you, man, for recognizing me. Otherwise, Chris, I brought my camera with me. I'll be capturing his ass like the one in Taiwan. Shacks were on fire. Oh, Cabello, I see you there, man. Yeah, you're a good viewer from what I recall. I just hadn't seen you in a while. Most countries require radiology test, TB check if you want to, yeah, residency. Yep. No lawyer. Must be outside the U.S. U.S. will define who. Security check, medical. There you go. You can keep your citizenship. Yep. How do I contact you on WhatsApp? Well, you have to join one of the WhatsApp groups and not the refugee groups. Look, people, please quit sending me requests to join the refugee group on WhatsApp. I'm not creating more groups there. I have right now, folks, you know, I go in my WhatsApp. I can't do any work because people are flooding me. I didn't ask you to send me messages. I'm not trying to tell people to go away, but this is insane. Please add me. 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 Oh, please add me, please add me, please add me, please add me. I've got at least 300 messages here from people unsolicited saying, hey, Chris, please put me in a group. Pester one of the other admins, folks. Don't send me the request because the groups are full. I go through all the time. I'll do it right now. And if there's any opening spots, I'll put someone in there. Okay, what's going on here? Okay. All right. Okay. So, oh, that's not a good photo. Let me find a better photo. That's not a very complimentary photo of me. Here we go. This one's better. Okay. So, oh, that's not what I don't want that one either. Hang on a second here. Well, I guess I'll have to go with the one that's not so complimentary. Okay. So, So I'm going to show you this. Sorry, interrupt what I'm doing here. I just want to show you something. So I've had an embargo. So when I have guests and I have access to information, I don't just, where the hell did it go? I hate this. WhatsApp doesn't save stuff where you tell it to save it to. My goodness. Okay, now I got to go back and save it again. Oh my goodness. Okay, so. Okay. Okay, hang on a second here. All right, so let's see if I can find this now. Stupid thing. So, all right. Refresh. Nope, I can't find the picture, so good thing I renamed it. There it is. Okay, so I will be publishing a video later today. I don't know how soon, but this is an interview with someone from South Africa, and you might notice who this is. All right, so let me just jump back to this very quickly here, and then I'll continue on with the chat here, and I'm going to go back to all the questions again here shortly. So there you go. Anybody recognize the people in that photograph? That's the Port of Baltimore behind us. That is Federal Hill in Baltimore. And there I am on the left. In the middle is somebody, and then Ernst Rutz is on the right. It's Joost Strijdom in the center. You see my live broadcast with Ernst. Well, Joost was also present from Oranje in Baltimore, and he was there. So I did an interview with him on Saturday, and I agreed to hold it until now, and it will be released today. Thank you, Hotman, for your membership. Okay. Okay. What is Chris Smith's question about loans? What about an assault case that's been thrown out? If it's been thrown out, Claudine, then you're down to the conviction. People can accuse you of false things all the time. I mean, I had incidents where I had to deal with the police, not me, but because of the Veterans Organization, I had to call the police in yesterday to take a look at something, and they asked me, did I want the person that might be involved to be arrested? I'm like, no, we don't know the person did it. You don't just go arrest someone, because then they got a record of that. Ronaldo, do you need to be a victim of crime in order to get an interview for FTC? Well, in your case, Ronaldo, yes, that is true. 100%. Ronaldo must be a victim of crime. Also, we don't want Ronaldo because we know all about his video. America knows about Ronaldo's video, so he will not be allowed in the country. We know all about you, Ronaldo. Okay, all right. So, Kali Moritz, Leka Midag. Okay. So, Timeless Memories, not coming to America, but we'll continue to watch on that. Well, Timeless Memories, I'm not asking anybody to come to America. Thank you for sharing that, though. Okay. And the fact our media covers landing in Cape Town and praise him, yeah, and they don't cover the facts. Folks, I don't know if this will help. Get an FNB account, link your PayPal, put money in your PayPal, open a bank account, and you say, there you go. There you go, Lindy. Also, somebody, if you're here today, the lady who said, my husband is a financial advisor, and they said, are you interested? I said, yes, I'd be interested in interviewing him. Who were you? Don't answer it here. Send me another message because I can't find you anywhere because all these people asking to join a group, which is full. Anyway, that's where I was going. I was going to the groups. So let me go to the groups and let me see. I'm going to go to, okay, so U.S. refugee, U.S., U.S., okay. First group, there's 13 requests to join group 2. And let me see if anybody's available. So, nope, full. Nobody can join. Nobody left. Okay, second group, 61 people waiting to join. And nope, full. So the 300 messages I have asking to join, I'm sorry, folks. I'm not being rude, but I just have to ignore these from now. Oh, 50 memberships. I got to turn the alert box off. That's going to be crazy. I can't answer 300 messages. It eats up so much time. Please stop asking for access to the refugee group, okay? If it's open in their spaces, we will put the list up. I encourage you to go to the Telegram group and join the Telegram group, folks. I don't know why people are so reticent to join Telegram. It's actually safer and more secure. Where the heck is my... Oh, there it is, refugee links. It is safer and more secure than WhatsApp. It's just an application you download and put on your phone. I'm not pimping for their site. I'm just telling you the reality. So there's the Telegram WhatsApp group. I would suggest if you want information, it's a push only. You cannot contribute comments to those groups. The 2 WhatsApp groups that I created and manage can only have input from myself or my moderators. And it's the same on the Telegram group. So you're not going to be inundated with messages. You only get messages that are relevant to what's going on, okay? Although my mods keep putting my videos in there, and I wish they'd stop doing that. Super happy about this generous officer. I'm trying to leave this country on my own terms, says Christopher, okay? All right. If you get a green card, I can throw away. Why would you throw away your... No. Do not throw away any identification from any country if it's still valid. If it expires, that's on you. But you don't know what you might need that document for. Okay? We have Afrikaans saying, "Ye het laat vir jou is a." I don't know that. That's colloquial. Okay, and then Ronaldo can't come to America. We've already covered that. Okay, we know Ronaldo can't come here. Okay, and Van just gave 50 memberships. Chris, I know you cannot return our refugee program once you've been taken up the offer. However, does it mean that you cannot even come back and see family? Amanda, okay, first off, that is not a true statement, what you said. It's a mostly true statement. Generally speaking, you cannot return to the country you escaped from. Again, not for Amanda, but for the audience in general. You are not immigrating to America. Yes, in practical terms, yes, you're coming to America and you plan on living here. But you're not immigrating. You're coming here as a refugee. In other words, you've escaped a place where your life was in peril. Therefore, it's foolhardy to send you back there. You could be captured, arrested, killed. People don't generally go back. We don't send people from Sudan back to Darfur to visit family. There are exceptions, however, to every rule. You can, if a family member is in distress or dying on their deathbed, dying of cancer, you can request an exception, but you run the risk of being abused or detained when you get back to South Africa by pissed off authorities. So that's the answer to that question, Amanda, but it's rare. So basically, the bottom line, if you come to America as a refugee, kiss South Africa goodbye for 5 years or 6 years. You're not going to go back, basically, okay? And if that's important to you, then this isn't for you. All right? Generally speaking, you're not going back to South Africa 5, 6 years. But it doesn't preclude anybody from South Africa coming to visit you in America. Once you're here, they can come here, get a tourist visa, come visit family. You can do that. All right? So, again, man, I'm not picking on you, but people act like this is, this is not immigration. Wow, man. We're doing so much, you're cutting out tens of thousands of dollars of lawyer fees, going to the front of the queue, giving you access based simply on the definition of an Afrikaner, not on the fact you actually been persecuted, not making you go move out of the country, live in a tent, some camp in Namibia or in Botswana. It's just incredibly generous, and people want to, anyway. Look, there are clever ways if you have wealth to get it out of your country, and I'm not a financial advisor to tell you how to do that. That's not my place. So there are clever ways to figure things out. If you've got pets, you're going to have to pay for them, and it's expensive, buddy. I'm going to tell you what, it takes a lot of quan to bring your pets over here. We've had this conversation many, many times. $1, not going to do it. $2, not going to do it. $3, not going to do it. $10, not going to do it. And $20, not going to do it. More like $10,000. That's going to get your pets over here. $10,000. You think it's expensive to bring a person over here. A person don't cost jack squat compared to what it costs to bring a feline or a canine. And I know a lot of you now identify as canines, courtesy of Nata Beloy, but you're not actually a canine. So you can't go to the airport and say, can I come for free, and bark at the immigration official or the airline. It doesn't work that way. All right. I will do PayPal later rather than the weekend member later. I always share your stream with what's... Thanks, Van. Appreciate that. But the case is still showing on the person's criminal record, just wondering. Well, how can it show on your criminal record if it's not a crime? It must be expunged. See, this is why when I was asked if I wanted the person that might be involved in the event arrested, I said no. Why would I want them? We will deal with this internally now that we think we know who it is, but we needed a police report to file in case our insurance company wanted something. So we had a police officer come. But yeah, I don't want someone arrested just over something. We don't even have the facts here. An arrest goes a ways. No, Claudine, I don't understand your point there. What criminal record? How do you have a criminal record if you're falsely accused, if the charge was dropped? Now, to answer your question, if you're saying, well, when I'm interviewed, should I tell them about it? Yeah, well, you tell them I was arrested and charged with assault, and the charge was dropped because there was no merit to it. Or I was arrested and charged with assault, went to trial, and found innocent. Or I was arrested and charged with assault, and I spent, X days in jail. Okay? You have to be honest, okay? We don't want dangerous, violent people. Are you a dangerous, violent person? Do you beat people up? We don't want you here. Good Lord. Go visit Ronaldo in PE. Poor Ronaldo. Well, that's what Ronaldo gets for being a cheapskate. 35 rand. Good Lord. I heard Rob say we must support Ronaldo's podcast. Yeah, he didn't say support my podcast, did he? Did he now? Did he mention me by name? I don't recall that, Rob. Hey, Rob. I know Rob watches the show. Rob, why didn't you mention me, man? Why didn't you mention me? No, Discord is a leftist hate wanker company. Not interested. Already dealt with their censorship. Look at all those gifted memberships, man. Look at all those gifted memberships. Now I can turn the alert box back on. George, welcome to you. Oh, we jumped up ahead here. Okay, I'm going to go back and read these notes here in just a moment. Okay, so stop with the swearing. You know there was a brain drain, right? Peeps, will you keep your permanency? Michelin Star Diner, LOL. Stop with the swearing. Are you talking to me? Stop with the swearing? Or are you talking to people in the chat? Never arrest, never appear in court. Then you don't have a criminal record, Claudine. I don't understand what you're talking about. Could be that they're satisfied, but... Huh? I don't know what you're talking about there. Some stuff saying in the chat, I don't understand what people are talking about. Who is with me? We start Tesla. Okay. Arrest for DUI, suspended sentence, went on record. Well, Emilio, you're going to have to be honest with people. If you're a drunk, we don't want drunks on the road. Big D's Diesel, $5. And Edward O'Neill, 70 Rand. Thank you for the super chats. You got to be honest, man, when you're asked the questions. Some South Africans have the privilege to delete criminal records. Okay. Yes, Rob, why don't you mention Chris? It's X. We need great steaks. I don't know about that. Where are you getting those great steaks from? Do you see that 100 MPs across the world? Yeah, look, they're leftist MPs, Dr. Quill. 140 Rand from Van. Thank you for that, Van. Spread Colonel's channel by sharing. Pay it forward. Let others also see it. Most people I talk... Exactly. Most people know what they're talking about. So please share my channel. I did not send an email, Chris. Anita. I'm sorry. Did I mention something from an email from you? I'm very confused. Miranda Duplessis says you're very patient. Yeah, I'm unbelievably patient, especially with the attacks from people who are horrible. You know, the conversation we had last night about folks, no one's going to... Oh, by the way, yeah. What time is it in South Africa? Yeah. So I was asked to make a phone call to someone's grandchild in South Africa today. So I have to do that when I finish here. All right. Unusual time. Well, G9, because the embassy put out an update, which just basically is an answer to the 14 most frequently asked questions that I came up with back on February 11th. Lynette said, I sent you an email. Okay, thank you, Lynette. I'll have to check into that when I get a chance. So it is an unusual time for me. I go live when events break, and this is kind of a breaking event. Never mind bringing dogs over. We're South Africa, bringing your pet lions. Well, you did see my video where I said, my sarcastic video about the FEMA tents, and I said, you know, they're going to ask you about whether you have giraffes and lions in your front yard here in America. He didn't mention you, man. It was like, how can you forget Chris? Well, there you go, Cabello. There you go. It's a shame I wasn't loved. Where did you see Rob? On his channel? Yep, look at that. So Ronaldo gets going to get a bump because 20 million people have seen the tweet that Boer redid. But yeah, so people aren't promoting my channel. Whatever. You know, whatever. There's a criminal record on my husband's name, says Claudine. Okay, well, Claudine, you're sharing a little too much information. Steph both gave a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Steph, super sticker. Thank you for that. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know the circumstances, and even if I did, I'm not the immigration people that will decide. So it might be a case, if it's not serious enough, that if you get it, maybe your husband will be able to come because of you. I don't know. Cabello, the email has been posted several times in the stream by moderators. If moderator could put the email up, oh, there it is right there. Arctic just put it up. Okay, I got a pet rock. You can bring your pet rock if it fits in your pocket. Well, I have to wait for citizenship U.S. before starting. Nope. Answer that question 1,000 times, Chris Smith. Do you think that foreign nationals have to have citizenship to start business in America? No, we have thousands of foreign nationals that have businesses here. We have refugees that have businesses here. Yep. Any views on Juju and Jesus? I haven't seen that video. Will I come and speak at your wedding, Monique? I don't know where your wedding is at. See South Africans as a neighbor. Thanks a million, Chris. You're welcome. Okay. Okay. So now, folks, I'm going to go back to what we started this broadcast for. Yeah, you can request not to be settled in California, but might be stuck there anyway. All right. See, Ronaldo mentioned me, but not Rob. You know, Ronaldo, man, I hope you're getting some subscribers because Boer posted your video about the, I guess, I haven't seen your whole video. I watched the beginning of it and it was interesting. But people said you lost your crap later in that video. I didn't see it. But Boer on X reposted or posted that link. And then Elon Musk reposted Boer's video and there's like 20 million views on it. I made a video, it was just very balanced about Malema singing that and about the U.S. and all the stuff going on. And they didn't repost my video. So, good news for Ronaldo. No bump from that? Are you serious? Are you serious, Ronaldo? That's BS, man. See, that's the problem with Twitter. People don't click on this stuff. So Elon Musk, that's got like 20 million views. You should have picked up at least 5,000 subscribers from that at a 20 million. That's crazy. Well, how many subscribers you get from Rob mentioning you? I bet you got subscribers from Rob mentioning you, man. I'll never catch up to Ronaldo at this rate. Anyway, all right, back to it. So, folks, if you're just tuning in, we've been at this for a little over an hour. I'm going to tell you the news. The United States Embassy in Hatfield, Pretoria, published on their website today. And by the way, it wasn't there at 3 o'clock in the morning when I went to bed. It wasn't there. Somebody said something about there was there, and I went to the website. There was nothing there. There was jack squat there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go back to the first page on the embassy website, and we're going to take you there, okay? So if you go to the U.S. Embassy website in South Africa, which is za.usembassy.gov, za.usembassy.gov, Gov in South Africa, that'll take you to the U.S. Embassy's website, and this is what they've produced. By the way, Ronaldo's also put a video up on this, apparently. All right, so PRM Resettlement Program. And if you wonder what PRM is, because some people wonder, and I've said it a million times, Population, Refugees, and Migration. It's a part of the State Department that handles this. You click on that, and it takes you to their frequently asked questions, published on March 24th. Who's a refugee? What is USARAP? Do I pay a fee? Who's eligible? What are the steps involved? Folks, this is what I put out on February 11th. February 11th, ladies and gentlemen. February 11th of this year, I put out a video 4 days, not even 4 days after the president's executive order, and addressing 14 most frequently asked questions. It was on advice and recommendation from Arctic, who suggested that I do it. I'd already considered it, but Arctic said, hey, you should do this. And so I did it. And that video has 91,000 views. It should have 391,000 views, but you know, it's YouTube. You get what you get. So, okay, here you go. So I made all this stuff. I put charts up and everything. I explained this weeks ago, and the embassy's finally getting around to addressing this. How do I apply for asylum? Well, it's not asylum. I was told I have to prove persecution. Is it true? Not true. Why is it only Afrikaners? We don't know who Afrikaners are. Do I need a passport? What documents do I need? Where do I apply? This is one of several videos I made about asylum. Let's be very clear about this. South African YouTubers, mainstream media, political parties are distorting and contorting the story here. Asylum is very different than refugee status. For asylum status, you have to have very specific requirements. So, according to the U.S. government, asylum is for the following. Every year, people come to the United States seeking protection because they've suffered persecution or they fear that they will suffer persecution. But you must be in the United States to apply for asylum. That's the major difference here. Anyway, so let's get back to the embassy, okay? Back to the embassy. So, I'm going to read to you what they say, and it's almost 99.99% with what I've said 5-6 weeks ago, okay? So, there is the update on the embassy website in South Africa, okay? All right. Andre says, do I have to be in South Africa to apply? You have to be in South Africa to get the status. You can't be abroad and get it. That doesn't mean you can't apply for it if you're on a temporary visa. The embassy did not answer the question about those on H-2A visas, but generally speaking, the law precludes you from applying for that. But as I've said, if I were working on a farm in Nebraska, I'd go on the website and fill it out. You got a permanent address in South Africa. You're going to be back there in a few weeks. Go ahead and apply for it. Go home and then try to come back. Okay, that's what I would say. But you're probably not going to be able to apply for it from the States and then get it from the States because you're not in jeopardy. It's for people in jeopardy. And I don't want to hear, oh, but I'm jeopardy South Africa. But you're not in South Africa. Okay? All right, hang on. Okay, so this is what they said today. I'm going to read it here. I printed it all out. Okay, who is a refugee? Under U.S. law, a refugee is a person who is outside their country of nationality, or if no country of nationality, country of last habitual residence. There are very few people who are stateless. That doesn't apply here. And who is unable or unwilling to return to that country or is unable to avail themselves of the protection of that country because of past persecution or has a well-founded fear of persecution on account of race, religion, nationality, membership, particular social group, or political opinion. What they don't tell you is what the law says. In this answer, they don't tell you that you can't be resettled elsewhere. So I have a viewer who's in Spain, who lives in Spain. They have permanent residency there. You can't apply. You're not being persecuted. If you're working abroad in the UAE for a few months on a contract, you're still a South African resident. If you're on H-2 visa in your states doing farm work, you're still a South African resident. So I would think that in those cases you could, but they don't address that here. This is too vague still. My answer is more direct than the embassy. So we'll see what happens. But if you are in Ireland and you become a refugee there, you cannot move to America. People ask me that when this thing started. Well, I live in Ireland. Can I come to America? No, you can't. Why would we give Admiral Fun Lightning Bolt? Why would we give you refugee status to come from Ireland to America? Why? I know Ireland's falling apart because of 25% illegals in the country, but we're not going to give you refugee status. You're already resettled. The law precludes that. Okay. But again, if you're on temporary work somewhere, that doesn't mean that's your permanent residence. So you might be able to do it. In certain circumstances specified by the President of the United States, in this case, individuals who are within their country of nationality may also be considered refugee for purposes of admission to the United States. Normally, as I've told you over and over and over again, you normally must be outside the country. You must have fled from a country, like, for instance, from Darfur in Sudan to Chad, from South Sudan to Uganda, from Kenya to, or from Somalia to Kenya. And then you're outside the country, you're a legitimate international definition of a refugee. You can apply for refugee status to be protected and to get assistance and resettle in another place. That's how it works. There are exceptions. Cuba, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and now South Africa in-country refugee status. You're not a refugee legally, but you're given status. You haven't fled your country. How can you be a refugee? If you've been forced to vacate your home inside a country, you're not a refugee. You're an IDP, an internally displaced person, IDPs. There are millions of IDPs. All right. So in this case, you're being granted refugee status by definition by the president, which is a gift. One such specification is in certain circumstances, persons identified by the U.S. Embassy or by an authorized State Department referral partner in any location. So anyway, what is the United States Refugee Admissions Program, USRAP? The USRAP is a legal pathway through which individuals who are refugees under U.S. law, and see, that's the thing. So you got the Canadian consultant coming on there. You've got the people in South Africa from Agri-SA, from the government, from the DA, all these people telling you that, well, you're not a refugee because you don't meet these standards. They don't know what they're talking about. And I've told you this since February 7th. February 7th. They don't know what they're talking about. Who cares what the international definition of refugee is? It does not matter. The only thing that applies in this case is what United States Code, U.S. law says. And under the Immigration Nationality Act of 1980 defines who a refugee is, how you come to this country, and what your status is, and what applies here. Our law. We don't give two flying flips about what the UN says. We don't give jack squat about what the European Union says, what the African Union says, what South Africa says refugees. That's none of our business. We don't care. We define who we accept. We. These United States. So all those people who are telling you this, that, and the other, like the Canadian consultant that went on News Africa and said, well, don't trust this thing from America. There's something suspicious going on here. The Americans are up to something nefarious. Meanwhile, you can come to Canada. You can immigrate to Canada. We can let you come. We need professionals. And oh, by the way, it only costs X bazillion rand that you pay to me, a consultant, to help you get to Canada. Yeah, well, this program costs 0 bazillion rand. Nix, nada, yet, nine to bano. $0, 0 cents, 0 shekels, 0 rubles, and of course, no rand. None whatsoever. Do not go to a lawyer. Do not go to a consultant. You do not need them. All you need is common sense and the truth, and it shall set you free. All right, now, refugees must apply for permanent residency 1 year after arriving in the United States. Well, it's within 1 year. This is not, the law says within 1 year. I told you that. 7 February. Refugees may then apply to become a citizen after 5 years, which is generous. Most people, you can apply for 5 years. Most people have to wait 7 to 10 years to get the citizenship, but refugees are given a quicker window. Like those who serve in the military. After 3 years of honorable service, they can apply. Refugees are authorized to work in the United States. Told you that too, didn't I? Asylum seekers are not. Do I need to pay a fee to access the program? Access to the U.S. Refugee Admissions Program is free. Free. Beware of any scams or potential exploitation. Now, who told you that within the first 10 minutes of the broadcast on February 7th? I did. And have told you that ever since then. Do not pay to get on a list. Do not go to people, folks. What's with the YouTube ads, Jeremy? Well, YouTube puts them in, whether I like it or not. I don't know what to tell you, man. At least now I'm getting some money. They get all the money if they put them in. So, the President defines who may be eligible through the presidential determination on U.S. refugee admissions or report to Congress. So, the President determines who's eligible, which is what I also told you. What are all the steps involved? Well, there's an interview with the Department of Homeland Security, determine if you're eligible for status. Security checks, that's background checks. I've mentioned that in the video. It's on the list. Go to my Substack. Let's put the Substack up there real quickly, okay, so people can find the Substack. I encourage everyone here to go to the Substack. It's free. I don't charge, unlike some people, I don't charge you for my Substack. It is 100% free, and I intend to keep it that way. And if you're curious, there's a few articles written on there. I use that as a place to self-publish, okay? Corey, your thing to telling people like and subscribe was just blocked by YouTube. I just see this. YouTube just blocked Corey telling people to subscribe to my channel. What is that? There's no profanity. There's no violence there. There's no racism. Her chat was just blocked. I had to unblock it. Can you believe it, YouTube? Stop it, YouTube. All right, so my Substack will now be pinned at the top. So go to my Substack, and you'll find the document with all the videos about the refugee stuff that are relevant to you. Background checks, finances, who's eligible, the 14 questions, dispelling rumors, dispelling myths. It's all there, folks. Yeah, you can carry 10,000 cash on you if you want to, but that's a little crazy. I appreciate the help. Look after mom. Therefore, I'll take her with me. My sister can come. You say you're correct. My 13-year-old needs a better life. She's been racially attacked in school. That's horrible, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, so back to the checks. So it involves security checks, medical exams. All applicants must complete a full security screening process, both biographic and biometric, fingerprints, DNA, which is the most rigorous of all travelers to the U.S. Yes, tourists don't do that. Any applicant unable to successfully complete the required security vetting process is not allowed to enter the United States. Can I fly to the U.S. now and claim asylum on arrival? They don't answer this question, although they pose it. Can I apply from the United States if I'm already there on a temporary visa? To the gentleman who's on the H-2 visa, I just said this. You must be located outside the United States to access a referral to the program and undergo processing. So what they're telling you there is what I've just kind of said, to access a referral. Well, you get a referral from South Africa. So does that mean you can't go online and apply? To me, it says you can apply, but you better be ready to hop on a plane at your own expense and fly back to South Africa for an interview. Just saying. Just saying. All right? Okay? All right? Just saying. But they're not very clear there. But I'm being very clear there, okay? Can I maintain citizenship from my country of origin? Well, this is also where they parse the data, and this is slightly different than what I've told you because they're not following the law here. U.S. law generally would not require you to renounce your country of origin citizenship. Well, no, they can't force you to renounce it. You're a refugee. Now, what's implied there is if you become a citizen. Well, that's not for 5 or 6 years down the road, so it's not germane. Please consult laws of your country regarding dual citizenship. Well, the United States does not legally recognize dual citizenship, so I don't know why they gave you that advice. That's incorrect. Okay, just throw a date on the program starts. We know 5-6 weeks from there it kicks off. Which state do you live in? I live in Pennsylvania at the moment, Francois. I'm not from here, but this is where I live because my last assignment was as the Director of African Studies at the U.S. Army War College. Who is trying to baffle people with BS, Ivan? It's not load shedding or some other cable line issue. Power went out Saturday at noon, only came on this morning at 3 a.m. Geez, power's out again. If a person's already working an H visa offered a sponsorship, what are the steps they would have to take to get wife and family? Okay, Val, what H visa? There's all kinds of H visas. I don't understand what you're talking about. If you have a visa, you're working in the States as a migrant, farm worker, you can't stay here. You can't bring your family over to the States for FD. It doesn't work that way. You can't do that. I don't understand what you're asking, Val. I think that's what you're asking. Okay, what else we got here? Sorry if dumb question, but if one entered the diversity lottery, do you think that your chance increased in light of the executive order? The diversity lottery has nothing to do with the refugee program, not a damn thing, and it should have no impact on the refugee program. You can apply for both, as far as I know. Okay, just swipe left when ANC or SA Media makes comments. Exactly. Destro Fox says. So you're asking Arctic questions on my channel. Okay, well, thank you for that. Hey, Tseko Kumalo, welcome to the program. Says refugee, how would you be able to get Social Security, or would you? Is there perhaps be other means for refugee to safely store and save up money with the bank? Well, you can't get a Social Security number. I mean, okay, I don't understand. What are you asking for? Refugees get Social Security numbers when they arrive in the States. But I think you're asking how you can get your money out of South Africa. Well, I'm working on getting a finance expert on here. All right, so screw Candace as Amerikaners. Agreed. Agreed. Okay. Yeah, well, you get a Social Security number when you arrive here. Yep. Yeah, Nikki both says, I don't blame him for taking time. It's not a while, folks. People have unrealistic timelines. I mean, honestly. Look how long it took them to answer the basic questions, which I answered. And I answered more questions than this And I guarantee that my answer is probably 100% correct. I answered those on the 11th of February. After answering them on my live streams for 4 days, I made a video on 11th February. It's all there for the world to see. Only 91,000 views. And then it just died because YouTube doesn't let people see it. Yeah. So, yeah, 91,000 views. Should be 391,000 views. So there you go. In the meantime, you've all gone to all these other sites and you've gotten your information, you've listened to bullshit. Then you come here, Johnny come lately, and you're like, yeah, but I was told this. Well, fine. You want to believe that? Believe that. But look who was right. Look who was right. Americana says, please introduce me to your other friend. We need his help. Why are you guys asking Arctic for things? Look, no, nothing against Arctic, but why are you asking Arctic for things in here? Please introduce me to your other friend, Ronaldo. We need his help. Why do you need Ronaldo's help, Americaners? Marius, thank you for asking people to subscribe. Yeah, Corey, you asked people to like and subscribe, and they blocked it. I had to free it up. Super D, 51st State. No, we're not getting 51st State. Okay. Yeah, if you get YouTube Premium, I do get a little piece of that ad money. You need to be a premium member on YouTube to skip the ads. Yep. If we watch the ads for 30 seconds, Colonel should receive some payment. Okay, Ronaldo said, I qualify definitely for refugee status because my daughter-in-law said we must leave. Well, there you go, MPB. See, Ronaldo knows. Do you think they will let us stay in the Western Cape and visit the Cape Consulate? I don't understand what you... Oh. Do you think... Oh, do you think those... Okay, Francois, I've answered this many, many times. I don't know, but my anticipation would be fully that when we do implement this program, given the level of interest, that they will probably process people for interviews all over the country. We have embassies and consulates. We have an embassy in Pretoria. We have consulates in Pretoria, Durban, Joburg, and Cape Town. I would expect that all of those offices would serve to facilitate interviews, either at their facilities or at a third-party location, a hotel, a conference center, Emperor's Palace in Kempton Park, something like that, to take interviews. So we don't know. This damn freaking watch won't stop. We don't know, and we won't know until they decide, okay? It's going to cost money. It's going to take time. This is why, these people freaking out. Oh, my God, it's been so long. February 7th. It hasn't even been 2 months. Get a grip, folks. It's insane. This is what kills me about this whole thing is people have been offered the golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and they want to complain about it. Not respond to anybody here. I'm just talking in general. They want to complain about it. It's too long. What about this? What about this? Well, I want this. I want that. Well, you can want in one hand. You can crap in the other. Let's see which one gets filled first, okay? Let's see which one fills up first. Wants or crap in the other hand. I can tell you which hand is going to fill up first, even if you have irregular bowel movements. Okay? Thanks for the info. You say apply a lot. Did I miss anything? Is there a link where you can apply? No, I don't say it. What do you mean I said apply a lot? I'm reading you the questions. There's nothing to apply for. The program does not exist. You can go and download the form that's the general form used by U.S. Customs Immigration Service. Fill it out. If you want, even send it to the embassy, but they're not going to do anything with it. But do it. Maybe you get lucky. But, we don't even know that's going to be the form. It may be very different. So some of us have listened and heard. Some do not listen, nor is the time listen to other crap, okay? Listening to the refugee program is hectic, funds, resources, such. Exactly. No one is asking, where do citizens go when the South Africa finally fails like the rest of Southern Africa? Well, people are going to flood into Namibia and Botswana. Some people in the Free State will pour across the border into Lesotho if it all collapses. Yep. Sonica, welcome to you. You were right 6 weeks ago, and we have followed your advice 100%. Application's been sent to embassy and sent, okay. Well, your email was sent there. Intro to Ronaldo was a joke. Well, that's fine, Americaners. I didn't know what you're looking for. I'll introduce you to Ronaldo, okay? One of the locals here flies back tomorrow. He is working farm work. He's been offered sponsorship from farmer for live permanently, including his wife. Okay, Val. All right, well, I don't know what that means. That's not even legal. How can it be offered sponsorship? I can't offer sponsorship to Val. If you want to come over here, I can't bring you over here. The only way I can bring you over here, Val, is if we were married, and that's not even a guarantee. Americans aren't allowed to sponsor people to immigrate to America. It doesn't work like that. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what the person's talking about. How are they sponsoring them to be there? That doesn't make any sense. I think somebody's pulling your leg. The only people who can sponsor people unfairly are these visa lottery winners. How do you think we get these terrorists in this country from the Central Asian states? They came over from the Central Asian state. They were terrorists. They invited their family members over because they're allowed to bring extended family over. And next thing you know, we have 20 of these scumbags coming in for Central Asia, and half of them are terrorists. So, but Americans can't do that. These visa lottery winners have more rights than American citizens. I can't recommend or sponsor anybody to come over here. It doesn't work like that. I don't know where that's coming from, Val. What they're talking about, it doesn't make any sense to me. But if they think it works for them, let them do it. Let them do it. Maybe they know something I don't know. I'll tell you that. Alan's here. My opinion, I think it would make more sense to interview someone already in the States, way less costly. No, your opinion is not going to work here, Alan. It isn't way less costly. How is it way less costly? How is it way less costly? The person you need to interview needs to be done in person. It must be an in-person interview for it to be effective. Trust me, as a counterintelligence agent, as a law enforcement official, interviews over Zoom, over Teams are not effective. You must be present to read a person's emotions, their responses, their behavior, their demeanor, and then you can suss out whether the person is being truthful or not and learn about them. You can't do that effectively over a video connection. It must be in person. So, this is a country that is 5,000 miles, 3,000 miles wide, 5,000 kilometers wide, 1,800 miles, 2,400 kilometers north to south, plus Alaska and Hawaii out here. How in the world are we supposed to interview someone on a farm in North Dakota? We have no Homeland Security guys who have an office that's located somewhere near them. So what, are they going to have to fly to Washington to be interviewed? How is that more effective, Helen? It should not be done the way. It doesn't make sense. You're not understanding how the government works. No, it makes much more sense to interview people in South Africa if it's an in-country resettlement program. Maybe I misunderstood your point, Alan. My apologies if I misunderstood. Zero cost. Ron Posa said that without expiration is not taking your property without compensation, except he sneaked in zero at the end. Okay. Will the U.S. Embassy protect us once we've applied for stop from leaving? No. How would they protect you, real Wesley Smith? How is the U.S. Embassy going to protect you? With what? Good intentions? I mean, the diplomatic protection they provide is for embassy employees and their family members, not for citizens of another country. No. How would they protect you? No, I think people are afraid to ask that question, Wesley. Will the embassy protect? No, it won't. They have no means to protect you. How could they possibly protect you? How far off do you think the actual program would come? LSR, I mean, that's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. I said all along this would probably take 4 to 6 months, but I could have given you answers over on the Monday. Yep. How do we go applying for this? Well, Marlene, we don't know. The program doesn't exist. You have to wait and see. Or you can go fill out the Customs Immigration site, go to their website, download the form they've got there, and send it in to the embassy if you want. I mean, that's up to you. Maybe a dumb question. I have a valid holiday visa. Will any type of issue? No. Why would that be a problem, Reg? No. It has nothing to do. You have a visa to come here. So people have green cards. We have South Africans have green cards. It doesn't mean they can't apply for this. We have South Africans with permanent residency who are currently, now, if you don't come back to the States within 6 months, you kind of abandon your permanent residency and they can cancel your green card. But, if South Africans go back to South Africa for 3 months, you can apply for the refugee program. Or can you? Permanent residency, I don't know. Maybe not. It doesn't. That doesn't matter what you're asking. A tourist visa doesn't matter. You're a hero, Chris, just for speaking the truth and focusing on our people. We need more recognition for it. Well, I do. Thank you. Instead of saying thanks, I want to show you thanks, whatever, no questions asked. Well, thank you, Mickey. No quota is known, yet the word Afrikaner is the executive word automatically restrict the number. Not all citizens. That is correct, Anita. Not all do. But who qualifies as an Afrikaner is the $64,000 question that we need from the U.S. government. There are many questions around cannabis here today. If it's medical or not medical does not matter. I haven't seen any questions in here about cannabis. It's the first one I've seen. What's your question about cannabis? Wonder what the cutoff amount will be for refugees to enter the U.S. Well, normally, as I've said, Janssen van Vuren, we take anywhere from 30 to 150,000 refugees per year, but we've had exceptions. Joe Biden took 162,000 Afghans in just 3 weeks. He busted the entire year's quota. So I don't know. We don't know. We'll see. If you have family, does that in any way improve your chances? We don't know that it does, Francois, but it can improve your chances where you settle if you want to live near them. But if you don't want to be near your family, then we'll mention it. Cannabis is illegal in most states. It's a dangerous drug, and it shouldn't be legal. Michael says, I smoke weed. I'm not ashamed for what I do. I function well, but not well when I'm poop drunk. Well, Michael, you smoke cannabis. That's your deal. Come to America and smoke in a state where it's illegal and find yourself being charged with a crime. Simple as that. What is this? Please, I missed something. It's just jumped on me. Well, your credit rating starts at 0, Walk. The U.S. and South Africa credit systems are not linked. British and American are. If I get tested, weed is detected, they will not be allowed to join the program. I hope this answers others one his question. I ask this because weed laws have changed in the U.S. Well, there are no weed laws in the U.S., Michael. There are weed laws in the 50 states and 4 territories. There is a federal law. It's illegal, according to the federal government. However, states are allowed on U.S. property, on federal property. You cannot enter a military installation with marijuana. You will be arrested. You will be arrested. You cannot enter a government facility with marijuana. You will be arrested. You cannot go. That's the only federal law that applies. But consumption of cannabis is up to the states because we have a federal system in which the states are supposed to have primacy. And it isn't explicitly spelled in the Constitution. So the 10th Amendment reverts that power to the states. So if you get tested and they detect cannabis, I don't know that they're screening for cannabis. I don't know what they're screening for. We don't know what they'll screen for. But I mean, how hard would it be for you to not smoke weed for 30 days? Honestly. What's this obsession with marijuana and illicit drugs? I don't understand people's fascination with drugs. Why people need drugs to get through life. It's alien to me. I don't get it. I don't get it. So, Michael, I don't know the answer to that question, but I mean, my advice is quit smoking weed. You got an interview, you know it's coming up. Don't smoke weed. Hey, Erica. I don't think if cannabis is legal in the state, it will make it legal in your system since it's a federal thing. Yeah. Immigrating to another country without even doing it as refugees sometimes takes a year. If you have to sell a house, the program will probably be faster. The USA has been thinking about it for a long time. We were offered permanent residence a year ago when getting visa. We do qualify due to family there. Oh, there you go, Alts. Okay, then, all right. Do you think there will be a cutoff line? Yeah, there's a possibility, Johan. I don't know, though. I mean, Trump, look, the South African government is intentionally pissing Trump off. I mean, Fikile Mabalula, Ibrahim Rasool, Paul Mashatile, even Cyril Ramaphosa himself have said stupid things, intentionally trying to provoke Donald Trump into doing something against South Africa. And the one thing you can do to South Africa is destroy your economy. How can you destroy your economy? By allowing 500,000 South Africans to immigrate to America who are taxpayers, many of them. That's how it can harm your economy. That would do irreparable damage to South Africa. And that's why they're pissed off in America. They won't admit it. See, that's the story they won't admit. That's the next video I need to do. The government of South Africa will not admit they're upset because Trump could destroy South Africa's economy single-handedly, simply by letting people come to the country. And people are like, you won't be able to handle 500,000. We got 30 million illegal aliens. We're in the process of kicking them out right now. You think we can't handle 500,000 more people in a country this big? Not a problem. Your credit rating does start at 0, but it's easy to deal with. Well, people who are asking Arctic questions, this is a good time to ask him a question because Arctic has done this. He's a South African. He has a permanent, I don't know if he has permanent residency, but he has a work visa here. And he tells you how you do it. You come here, you get a prepaid credit card or debit card from Walmart, and you make your payments because it comes out directly. You deposit money on it. It comes out after a few months. You start building a credit rating. You settle somewhere, you pay your electric bill, you pay your natural gas bill, you pay your water bill every time monthly, and you build a credit history. Within a few months or a year, you've got a decent credit rating. All right? Well, Trump won't know where you are if you're in Lesotho. That's true. Now, why is suddenly everybody worried about a quota? Now you all care about quotas. Everybody dissed this program. It's not real. Trump is lying. It's just a scam. Now everybody's like, well, geez, it must be real. Is there a link? Is there a limit? Yeah, there'll probably be a limit, folks. That's people, fence sitters. Guess what? Find yourself in the back of the queue, potentially. Okay? It's great that something was said. We just feel desperation, okay? Do you get to bring any belongings with you? Whatever you can carry and put in your suitcases, Super D. You might be able to ship a container to the States, but you're probably going to have to pay import duty when it arrives, if you can afford that, but containers are incredibly expensive. Central Asia is not the Middle East. No. Central Asia are the crazy stands. Okay. Left South at 11 years going to have French residency, but I struggle even for 11 years to integrate and struggle to learn French. So I return to South Africa. Can I apply? Yeah, Shadow. If you're in South Africa, you can apply. You can apply. You can apply. You can apply. Why couldn't you? You're in South Africa. If you have family who say this anyway, okay, well, why are these chats coming back to where it's already at? With one question, which What will we all have done if Trump had not announced this? Sit with their heads in the sand. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Anita. People are bitching at Trump and bitching at me and lying about me and lying about Trump. Why? You had nothing on February 6th. Nothing. Nothing at all. No, Daniel, skip whatever ads you need to. If you can afford to watch the ads, if you have the time, if you're playing in the background, watch them. But if not, skip them. I don't have a problem with that. Thank you. Whatever the requirements, comply with them. I'm sure the U.S. does not want anyone with a criminal record, maybe linked to an enemy. Exactly. That's why we have the most rigorous screening for refugees. You don't even have to be an American to join the U.S. military. I've covered this a million times. Anybody can join the U.S. military who's not a criminal, and it meets the standards from abroad. It's not easy, but you can do it. Just got to meet the standards. Okay, I'm trying to get through all these so I can end this. What does refugee program say about $150 theft misdemeanor? I don't know what it says, Mila. It's a misdemeanor. It's not a violent crime. Probably won't keep you from coming here. Hendrick's battery's dead. Would you say we will be interviewed and told a date to get on an airplane immediately? No, you won't be told immediately. No, there's no way. Jan, there's no way. Okay, think this through. You're going to be interviewed in a proper interview if you apply for refugee status. Then they're going to begin a background investigation of you. So how could they possibly give you a date you're going to leave? You won't know. It might be days, weeks, or months before you get a date. You're going to have to interview. It depends how many people they interview, how many people they want to take. They may do it in tranches. Here's the first 1,000. Here's the first 3,000. Now, this stuff takes time. It isn't done overnight. So, yeah, sell your stuff. It's cheaper to buy secondhand USA, says Anita. It'll be good when everyone has asked their last question and we're going to move out. Well, Cobus, I don't know how many people take up the refugee program. I can tell you that at least 480,000 people are represented by the number of heads of households who've requested information from the South African Chamber of Commerce, the Amerikaners, and the U.S. Embassy. So some are duplicates. So at least 350, 480,000, somewhere in there, maybe more. Plus the people have been sitting on the fence haven't asked anybody because they're afraid to ask. How much cash can you take with you? The United States allows you to take up to $10,000 U.S. currency equivalents, and that includes jewelry, Krugerrands, bills, notes, coins into it. Hey, Steph. All right. To apply for jobs in the USA, it would obviously be a good idea to have all necessary documents, academic achievements, but with the current state of affairs, so I won't be able to certify. Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean certify. I mean, my college diploma isn't certified. I just have it. Don't quit your jobs and carry on like normal, only when you get the notification. Yeah, I wouldn't have an exit strategy. You're going to find yourself with no house, no car, no job, no money, no nothing. Selling all your goods, that's just foolhardy. You don't even know you're going to be accepted in a refugee program. You don't even know how many people are going to be accepted. You don't know when it's going to start. People need to use some good judgment here and stop getting crazy here. You missed a lot, Gerard, okay? Yes, you will get your documents translated and certified if you're a refugee. That's part of the resettlement program. We have those services made available. We spend $2.7 billion per year helping people with job placement, with translation of documents, conversion to U.S. standards, and all that stuff. So, yeah, okay, I've answered this many, many times. And Mickey's a little bit extra depressed right about now. Why are you depressed? We expect so much from you, and you never actually take the time. And oh, yeah, well, most people don't thank me. That's fine. Has USA ever used a ship to get refugees out of the country? Not to my knowledge, Jan. If I don't have family or anything, if I'm approved, do I abandon all my things? And what about my debt? Still owe my phone. Jason, we don't care about your debt. That's not a problem for us. That's a problem for South African banks. Why do you think they're trying to stop you from coming here? Because they know they're not going to get their money back. All right, folks, I need to wrap up here. I really need to wrap up here because we got news coming up in 45 minutes. I also have to make 2 phone calls before we get to that, okay? So thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Be sure to share this link with folks. So in 6 months, maybe the first refugees can enter USA. Then 3 years, Democrats rule again. And South African refugees can... Oh, stop it. No, it cannot happen, Para Run. It cannot happen. It cannot happen. When you're granted regular refugee status, your refugee status cannot be revoked unless the situation changes in your country of origin or you commit a crime or you lied to gain status. The Democrats can't take your refugees. And you're going to wait a minute, but Trump just took it away. No, Trump took away special entry permission given to people who weren't here as legitimate refugees. Venezuelans, Haitians, and Cubans and Ukrainians who were granted special status illegitimately by the Biden regime. So Trump has revoked that. That is not consistent with U.S. Immigration and Nationality Act law. Biden operated outside under special circumstances, and that has been withdrawn because the basis for granting that was not legitimate. It's no longer valid. If you're a U.S. refugee, you come here, you only lose your refugee status if the situation changes in the country of your origin. All right? But do you think the ANC is going to remove 142 racist laws and the situation will improve between now and 5 years from now when you can apply for citizenship? I don't think so. So that's number one. Number two, if you lie and deceive and mislead, it can be stripped. And number three, if you commit a crime, you can be booted out. So if you don't commit a crime, if you don't do any of this stuff, lie to people, then you have nothing to worry about. So get a grip there. Thank you for the super chat, but you were wrong. I've got a phone call. Let me answer this. Hello. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know who that was. That looked like a number I recognized, but let me look it up. Let me look that number up real quick. Oh, boy. Okay. I wonder if that's my dentist. Nope. I don't know who that is. All right, well, that's not what I thought it was. Trying to contact my car's extended warranty. That could be it, yeah. All right, so I got to drop off here, folks. Thanks. Be sure to hit the like button. 99. Okay, can we hang a little bit longer to get 10,000 views? Maybe I should hang out a couple more minutes to get 10,000 views. So I mean, a boy was on a roof with a gun and the CIA did nothing. Why would the CIA do that, Peril? What are you talking about? You talking about the guy that shot the president? That's the Secret Service's job. The CIA has no legal justification to any action in the United States. Doesn't mean they haven't done it, broken the law in the past. It just means they have no basis to do it. Yeah. They have no basis for doing it. Okay, 99.71. We're close to 10,000. Standard 4. You're welcome, Jared. I have Truecaller. It didn't tell me that. I have Truecaller, Jared. It doesn't work properly. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Ron Poz has called on South Africans to change the narratives that their country is a place where people with certain race or culture are being targeted for persecution. All right. Hopefully you break the news first so I get my button gear. Okay, all right, Jason. All right, Secret Service is erratically named, well-known. Yeah, they're not so secret. Rentia, Shepard Kruger, I salute you for your efforts. Much appreciated. All right, guys, the news will be up in 45 minutes. Let me just get you a redirect to that so we get there. Okay, hang on a second. Live. Okay. Might have had 2,000 people go to that other video by mistake because it crashed on me. That sucked. Okay, so customization for this. Let me redirect you to the news, and then I'm going to make these phone calls. Okay, so hopefully I'll see some of you back in the news. I won't be jumping in the chat right away. I'm going to get to the news and talk about the news coming out of South Africa and around the world, okay? We hit 62,000 subscribers today. Thank you for that. Thank you guys so much, and that's going to be it. Hit the like button and catch you guys there shortly. Cheers, and hope to see you shortly. Bye-bye.